Midday Madhouse. If you ready or not, we gon' come with the Glock. Keep on talking crazy, nigga, we gon' clutch your block. Why ain't going so we fuck around and clap at the cops. When I was 9, I had my moms, and I'm stuck on my pops. And a couple sisters, all we got is each other. Before I fuck a nigga, I'm making sure he put on a rubber. Never tell him I love him, if I do it's a lot. If I did, I was drunk, or fuck around and been high. Get the bread, I'ma go, see her out, I'ma blow. Real pretty hood chick, say I'm cuter than most. Like a ghost to the soul, caught her leg and she froze. Left her brains on the corner, but the toilet on fold. They just wanna see me down, remember I was class clown. Praying on my downfall, hoping that I'm choked. Thinking I'm a joke, I'ma show 'em I want smoke. I'm feeling like Carter, Lil Wayne daughter. Hopped up in the game, I ain't need no push starter. Feeling like bricks, cause I move across the border. Waves like water, X steady calling. Got a new nigga, so you can't get up on it. Riding in the floor, ain't even started balling. Swear when I get on this industry, I'll go retarded. Now they call me awesome, say that I got stupid maps. Niggas in these stupid tracks, know that I be going hard. This gon' be a super track, riding in the G6, feeling like a G-whip. Smoking on that G shit, got on all that G drip. People, you can't see this. Tell them niggas snakes and them hoes, they can beat it. Well, how hot the cold, I switch my flow. Chasing bears, I chase hoes. Meet me at a couple shows, I blow up like a snotty nose. Or maybe you can come home and like something right? You get all that money and you think you get this from dude. I mean, that's the intention. And strong. Why can't you get something
I need you, you know it's true. Like, you need me, you know it too. Let's put aside all of this shit that we going through. You tired of hearing about all of this shit that I'm going through. I gotta get it right, I gotta make it better. I'ma gain your trust, shit, even if it takes forever. Said I'm never on time, heard it's better late than never. You forever on rhyme with you, I can take whatever. But you took that and ran with it. Really did me greasy like you cooked in a pan with it.
So as you guys can see, I am by myself today. So I am Cha-Cha. You know, this is the Midday Madhouse. It's always something going on. So today, you know, I'm sure y'all see what I have on the corner right here. So right now we're representing Khadijah, my daughter Hannah. So, we're gonna make sure she is represented. She has her own company. If you guys want to reach out, make sure you reach out and get you a piece of clothing. It's dope. But welcome to the Midday Madhouse. You know how this goes. Take a drink, relax, drink some water, whatever you're doing. You're at work, you're at home, enjoy life. Because I know I am. I'm definitely, yes. So the Jellolady right now is out. Um, and we're just gonna put all prayers out to the Jellolady. But Cha-Cha always gotta make sure that the best friend and I are always covered at all times. So today I wanted to elaborate, like I had seen a couple of things online and I was looking at stuff and I'm like, damn, I keep seeing where people are saying, when is your children supposed to pay rent? For me, I don't know when they're supposed to pay rent. I never paid it any mind. Like long as you're running around, you're helping me out, you're doing what you have to do, then to me, you got the house to make sure your family was taken care of. So I look at it as since we're all in the house, we should all be able to take care of this situation. I never looked at it like, when do you start making them pay bills? I mean, when I was growing up, most definitely, my mom and dad made sure that we had to pay and do what we had to do. So I didn't I just didn't do it with my kids. I have no clue why I didn't do it with my children. It wasn't a big priority to me. To me, parenting is everything, and trying to guide them in this thing called life was always big. Like, this thing called life does not come with a book. This thing called life, we have to take the punches, take the good with the bad, the ugly, the sad, and just keep it moving. So with that, like holding on to this generation is more important than me having them to pay some bills or, and just barking. Would it be nice? Yes. Does Hannah pay something? Yes. Samaj, he just got a job. The rest of our children, they're doing different things. So everybody is focused on their own little things. But I know with my parents, it wasn't really a big deal. It was more or less like, all right, well, here goes the water bill. It's for y'all. Y'all go half on it. Here goes this. Like, but they never barked on us with it. And then when we did give them the money, come to find out they were saving the money for us to do something else with our lives. So it was like, was we really paying the bills? Or, we were going three ways, giving it to daddy, mommy, and they were building a future for us. So with this generation, I just feel like they have so much going on that bills are responsible, but making sure their mind is correct and right is what's more important. So that's just my personal opinion, because this generation goes through a lot. And yes, you want your children to have responsibility. You put the responsibility on your children because of what type of parent you are. But what do you do when it's like, okay, now it's time for you to pay bills? I wasn't ready, mom, dad. I didn't know this part was coming. But you knew when you wanted that job that bank account was coming to you. You know what I mean? Like, you knew that was coming. So what do? And you just continue to push on, or you had no choice but to make sure mommy and daddy was paid off, making sure, they got theirs up front. So I think that even if us as parents was to do what, similar to what our parents did for us, would be a little different, because they might think that they're doing something. They might think that they're paying the bills and doing these type of things, but all in all, you're not doing nothing but saving their money for them to go ahead and reach on to their goals and their future. So it was just like, okay, it was a cluster of things coming to my mind when I was seeing people say, hell yeah, like they should be paying bills at such and such age, or they should be doing this and they should be doing that. Yeah, they should be. But this generation isn't what we came up to be. Our generation was different. Our generation, we came up where, you didn't disrespect your elders. Our generation was riding huppies, going to the basketball courts, maybe seeing a boy or two, a girl or two, flirt a little bit. You had your little crush. You went to church. You didn't have a choice. Like it was summer camp. You went to church. You did what you had to do. Um, this generation is like this, certain school districts is taking away sports. They're taking away the fundamentals of life that we grew up with. And now it leaves the kids bored. They don't know what to do. They don't know if they coming or going. They have no clue what's going on. So it's like, where do I go from here? Where do you go from here? You try to work it out because their lives are not the same as what we came up with. And the Jellolady and I have talked about this before. We came up with mommy, daddy, grandma, great great grandma. We came up with the uncles, aunts, and things like pop pops. We came up with this generation. So for this generation not to be able to touch on that, and with this generation, you have children raising children, the parents doing whatever they want to do, and then the children still isn't being raised, but the child is trying to figure out their own situation. So it's like, what do you do with any of it? Um, so you just gotta have patience and like push for your child. I don't think right now like this is a situation that any parent should bark on their child about. You're raising them with responsibility, but I don't think you should bark on them about paying rent. And I only say that because there's a lot that they have to deal with. There's a lot going on. Even though there's a lot for us as parents, like you're scared for your child to walk out the door. There's no telling what's going to happen to your child. You don't know if you're coming or going. You have no clue what's going on. What do? You try to focus on whatever is going on with your child and see what's the next step. Where do we go from here? And if you don't do that, I was if you don't do that, where do you go? Because we can show them all the guidance in the world, but the crazy part is in this thing called life. It takes our children really quick. Like, I'm not worried about you paying rent when you have children out here committing suicide. I'm not worried about you paying rent when three of your friends just died. Um, they're dealing with a lot. Like I remember when I was coming up, I didn't like. I remember about hearing about my first friend passing away. Like, and it hurt, but I wasn't used to that. Like when it came to our school, that was unknown of. We didn't hear of anything like that. You heard of like older people passing away, aunts, uncles, grandparents, older cousins. You didn't hear about um your friend passing away. You didn't hear about these type of things. So when you start to pay attention to this generation, they're burying their friends like they're waking up every day. And as a parent, I feel as though that is a really, really big problem on what's going on with life. Like the last thing I'm going to worry about is beating my kids back in about paying rent. Water bill comes every 3 months in our township. Pay the water bill or something. Give me something towards it. All these bills is going on, but at the end of the day, I'm going to make sure that my bills are paid because I didn't get this house just to fail. I didn't do this for us just to fail. We have a family here. So I'm not a fan of being big on making your children pay rent. Some of you might go against me, some of you might be with me, but I'm just saying this is Cha-Cha's own personal opinion. I think this generation is going through a little too much for us to be hagging the kids down for no rent or anything else, because what you need to be doing is hagging your kids down to see what's on their minds. And it's really, really sad. And if you guys don't, like some of you can understand where I'm coming from. Like I said, some might like what I'm saying, some might not like what I'm saying, but it's cha-cha. I am who I am, and I'm going to speak my own piece, whether you like it or not. We might we might get in a disagreement, but we're not always going to get along. Like that's just what it is. I'm not always going to like what you have to say, and you're not going to like what I always have to say. So it is what it is. But we're going to come to common ground. My common ground is look around, pay attention to what's going on. Look at these children and everything around these children. There is a lot going on within their minds that they're not speaking about. And I think just off of that is sad alone because you can't focus on, let me go, I got to go to work, I got to do this, I got to do that, and boom, you get a phone call. Did you know such and such passed away? Yeah, her kid got shot, boom, boom, boom. Like, what? Now, you know darn sure that your child goes to school with this child. This is a child that might have came to your house. You might have seen around in your hood, anywhere. You've seen this going on. You've seen this child. Now, you don't know what is going on in your child's mind, what they're thinking, if they're scared to go outside. Some of us are able to talk to our children, and then some of us, our children, you're just not there for your children to even speak or speak to. So, with that being said, I just don't. I think it's bigger things in life than just saying, "Hey, when you reach 18, you need to pay me some bills," because at the end of the day, nobody, you don't know this thing called life or grown, because when you look at life, you go through stages of life, ladies and gentlemen. We go through stages. And as we go through stages, I'm talking from coming out the womb to, even if when you're in the womb, you're growing, you're going through stages of growing arms, legs, face, eyes, everything. You're going through stages in life. And then when you hit this thing called real life, for some, it does not happen. Like, I don't believe in when they say, oh, your child's 21, they're grown. No, your child isn't 21 and your child isn't grown. Because guess what? Were you grown when you was 21? We thought we were grown. And then by the time we ended up getting older and older and older, and life started packing on you, and you started hearing and seeing the things that your parents was talking about, like, God damn, all right, this bill, the mortgage, this, all right, now I got auntie over here saying that this is going on, auntie, little cousins, it just be so much going on that you've seen your parents go through that you would have never thought that life was like that. You would just be like, I ain't gonna be doing that when I get grown. Not knowing you definitely are. It's just not gonna go through the same stages of life that you've seen, but you're gonna go through things. And that's how I look at. I don't feel as though that I was grown when I turned 21. Like, life was good, and I was enjoying life and partying like a rock star. And I always had good energy and positive people to push me where I needed to be in life. Besides like all my aunts, uncles, my family, my mom, my dad, my siblings. Besides all them, I have like, you know, street uncles that taught me the way to go. I had sisters, outside my sisters. Um, you always had those one parents where it was mom and dad to you. Um, and then you had those big brothers and big sisters and aunties because you became part of somebody else's family, and then it's just like, oh well, you end up calling that family, and then y'all embrace and bring each other's family together. This thing called life is something that none of us was ready for. So do you really think if you take one step back and look at your children and say, damn, I remember that. I remember when I went through that. And just think when your parents used to say, you know what, I've been there, done that. You know what, I was already there. You know what, you can still act stupid if you want to, but I've been there. And now you catch yourself repeating what your parents have said to you, to your own children, or Even if you don't have any children, you catch yourself repeating that to 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 everybody, to your little cousins, like it's crazy how history repeats, but it's just with this generation, like they don't have it's no care for life, or it's a lot of fear, or you're not good enough for this crew, but you're good enough for this crew, or deep down inside you have that one teacher that's going to tell you, you ain't going to be shit, you won't graduate, da 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 da. Because best believe, I don't put nothing past my children at all. Their mouths, nothing. But I believe in my kids. And when they tell me that they didn't do it, I believe that they didn't do it. But you have people out here, you have these children and people out here that will ride for a lie. Or ride because you're just trying to get in good with this child because you don't know what this child's mental is. Rent is not important, ladies and gentlemen. What is important is you got to embrace and love on your child, because if you don't, the streets will swallow your child. So do you really think that them paying rent is more important than the love that you should be giving your child? Like, or going to the local bars and clubs and partying every single day. I just had this conversation with somebody that's very special to my life. I call her Aunt Renee Marshall. And we were just talking, and I said, it's kind of crazy. Like, you find the generation of people that you grew up with, your parents' generation, the generations. And now you're starting with my generation. Now I'm starting to see, like, my daughter and my son is of age. Like, my two older kids is of age to come to the bar. It's cool to go out here and there and just, let your children be out. But I don't think that that's a place or time for you to be playing in these streets with your children. There's too much going on. First of all, let's just say that it's too much going on. And I think if you break that boundary of your child thinking like, oh, we can turn up and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Once you allow them to come into your space of adulthood where they think that they're equal with you, it kind of blends into respect. And with that respect key and that going in, that respect key isn't going to fit anymore. Because now it's like the lock has changed, but it's not changed. But now you done took this person out partying with you, which is your child, partying like rock stars with you. You're somewhere every single weekend, local bars, local. You're not nowhere where you ain't never been. You're at local bars. You're partying. You got 1,000 kids at home. You got your oldest child out with you now. Have I taken Hannah and my other son John with me out somewhere? Yes, they're of age. But when I take them out because maybe I have an event to go to. And come on, let's go. But there's a respect boundary that you have to have with these children. With any children, it doesn't matter. Even with myself and my parents, there's a respect boundary. With myself, my grandparents and all that, older aunts and uncles, there's a respect boundary. Once you open that door where they think that they're your equal, then you become the problem. Or, and then you think that they're the problem, but you didn't open up this book. Back in the day, what they say, you open up a can of whoop ass, because that's exactly what some of y'all kids are doing, whooping y'all asses. Now, let's just put it all out there. It is just ridiculous. And then my thing is, I'm not going to let you have an upper hand on me at all. As a parent, as an aunt, as the big cousin, I'm not going to allow you to have the upper hand. Now, I'm the cousin and auntie and mom that everybody comes to, that if there's something going on, they're going to come, they're going to try to ask me to, try to clear it out and try to, get the parents on my side. Like, kind of understand. They try to get me to be the understanding. So I'm the man in the middle that tries to make everything happen. But I I still tell the kids, like, listen, we're only human and we all make mistakes. But guess what? You keep making that same mistake over and you calling your mom out a name. The amount of disrespect that goes on with these kids is something unreal. It is like really unreal. But you gave it to them that way. You open that door. When you open that door, it's like opening Pandora box. You open that door for these children, and they think, and you give them that door to open, and they think, they have the upper hand. They're going to do whatever they can to continue to keep that upper hand. Now, when I was younger, when some of us was a lot younger, if your parents said be in the house by 1 o'clock, and it's like 1:05, you like, you know what? I'm gonna get in trouble anyway, or I'm gonna get beat anyway. So I might as well stay out because I'm gonna get the beating regardless if it's 1:02, 1:05. You was told to come in the house at 1 o'clock. Nothing later than 1 o'clock. You didn't get there, you was in trouble. That was it. Somebody, your head was gonna get knocked off. Somebody was gonna go up top on you. That was just the way life was. This life of these children, I think, and I'm just saying me personally and the things that I see, I think the things that we wasn't able to do, or the things that we wasn't able to get, or the struggles that we had to go through, we made a bond to ourselves to say, listen, my kid ain't gonna go through this hustle. My kid ain't gonna have to do what I had to do. My kid will not. What do? You end up creating a monster in your child. And with creating that monster, now it's like, well, where do we go from here? It has to be a respect boundary, ladies and gentlemen. And and the only reason why, not just, I seen a lot of you guys saying, oh, yeah, hell yeah, they should pay rent and da 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 da, blah, 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 blah. But then I was in ShopRite. And while I was at ShopRite, I had seen some disrespectful mess. And this child had to be no more than like 6, 7 years old. So the mom, the little girl, she wanted something. I was in like the snack aisle or something. But she wanted something out of that aisle. But the mom was like, no, that's not what we came here for. The same thing that our parents are telling us. You get in here, don't ask for nothing, da 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 da. So the little girl like fell out on the floor, like took a tantrum, fell out, screaming and yelling. The first thing that everybody does when you don't play them games, you like, I'm gonna beat her little ass. Like that's the words in your mind. You know what I mean? And if you're with somebody, you're gonna say that. Like, she gotta snatch her up and whoop her ass. What's wrong with her? Or you just end up giving that kid like that look, like you better get your little ass. But the kid knows the look. But she was testing her mom, and her mom had said, crazy part is she was a little brown girl, but the mom told her, she was like, I said no. The little girl turned around and said, and I told you yes. I told you before we got out the car that that's what I wanted. Now they're physically having an argument. Like, this is a mom and a child, like 6 years old. She had to be at least 6. Like, she was old enough to speak sentences. She was a big kid, but not a big kid. And she was going back and forth with this child. There is no way in God's creation that I'm going to go back and forth with a 6 or 7-year-old. I'm not going back and forth with nobody. And I don't care how old my kids are. When I say shut up, shut up. Now, if I ask you to be quiet and you're going to keep talking, then I'm going to say shut up. Now, after I have to get rude and say shut up, and you still talking, that don't do nothing but aggravate my mental, and now I want to do something to you, or now I'm yelling at, one more word is the F. Shut the F up. And then they get, well, why are you cussing at me? Why you keep talking? Or you just go up top on one of them, But I'm not going back and forth with no little kid. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm your parent. You're not my parent. And that's where, like, these unleveled, freedom of speech. Let your children speak how they want to speak. No. When we had these conversations and things like that with my parents would say, okay, we all going to sit down and talk about it. But there was a way you spoke about the situation. There was a way you went about saying, Mommy, I didn't, or Daddy, I didn't, or Nene, Desi, Wyatt, I didn't. It was a way you went about this conversation to speak to your mom, dad, siblings. It was a way you did it. Not just blurt out like, I can't stand you at that. Like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not your equal. And don't get too comfortable. Because as soon as you allow that child to get too comfortable, then it's like, okay, now you find a lot of parents that you're taking, and this kid's getting smart, and they're talking slick, and they're doing all this stuff. Now, you might have gave him a little, what do y'all call it, a pow? I don't do pow-pows. I knock the blood of Nazareth out of them. This works. Okay? It don't always have to be what you want it to be, but it doesn't take abuse to do it either. But some of y'all did little pow-pows and pop the kid. But now you are still allowed this child to overdo their boundaries with you. So letting them overdo their boundaries with you, now you're embarrassed because now when you go in public, this child is talking real freaking slick to you. Like they're the parent and you're the child. Where does that come from? Like I really think that everybody needs to take a look back when we're talking about, and I'm gonna go back to my original subject of the kids paying rent. Since my kids were young and they were able to write and read and things like this, I'm going to say him might have been like 11, 12, mine might have been like 6, 7. Since they were younger, I always made sure that they knew I would take them to fill out everything to pay the rent, the mortgage, the whatever. This is where we go to pay the electric bill. This is where we go to pay the water bill. And I showed them how to write stuff out, how to write out a money order, how to do these certain things. My dad used to tell me I was crazy because I would sit in a car and say, "Here, go in the bank and go to the Mac and grab me out of such and such $50 or $60. Go grab this money for me." My physical father said, "You are crazy. I never gave y'all my bank card. I would never do that. I would never do that at that age." But it's learning. It's a learning process. So they have to learn it from somewhere. And at that age, they don't have a bank account. So why not start teaching them how to write out a money order, so they can see, listen, this is all the bills that mommy and daddy is paying. This is the amount of money that I had to spend and go through. And especially, it's one thing. I grew up in a household with mommy and dad. It's another thing when you're going in a household with just dad, because shout out to dads, because there is a lot of single fathers out here doing their thing. Big ups to you. And then you have single moms that's out here grinding and busting their ass too. When you have that type of, that child, it's not good to be open about everything, but it is good to speak about certain things, because at one time I was a single parent. I didn't always have a husband, and I had to make sure I had to show my children what I had to pay. Listen, we're gonna go out to eat, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna go to Chuck E. Cheese, whatever y'all want to do, we're gonna do it. Water park, we're gonna do it. But you gotta give me a couple weeks, because look at all the bills this is that, car insurance. Boom, 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 boom. Show them all. This is how much I had to spend. I don't have it right now. But when I do get a little extra, and I might have it, it's just a simple fact that I ain't gonna go dipping in my side funds to make sure my first fund is all right for the bill fund. No, the bill fund is taken care of. Now I ain't going in here in this other account to mess around with this How stupid does that sound? No, we're gonna be smart about this, and you gonna have to hold off a little bit. And we heard that from our own parents when we were coming up. Like, listen, wait. Now you can get them sneakers, you just gonna have to wait. Or the Christmas list and this and that. But at the end of the day, where do you think the Christmas list came from? It's still coming from your parents. So we came up with certain boundaries where now it's like my kid can speak how they want to speak. My child can say what my child wants to say. Hell no, your child can't say. Mine ain't. Now you can go ahead and say how you feel, but make sure you say it nice to me. We ain't just going because what's going to happen is I get upset and I go up top. How do we explain that? You get upset, you scream at me, I go up top. So now what is that? An assault charge on your child? No, that's respect because you disrespected me. So in order for us not to go there, talk to me nice. But they are going through so much, and that's not an excuse for you. Your children are supposed to learn boundaries, rules, love, respect. All that stuff comes in one bag. Now, how you going to teach them as they grow up? That's upon you as a parent or whoever you are raising a child. Auntie, uncle, listen, that's upon you. But these are rules that were laid down as you're starting to walk. No, pop. No, you can't do that, pop. No, don't spit your food out, pop. No, don't throw the food down, pop. Like there was rules to this shit where you had to come up and you remember that, pop. You remember grandma backhanding you because she told you to be quiet and that hand came and you didn't even realize how fast it came. Like by the time you said, you already hit and it's already, the hand already came back. But it already done, and rings on and all. Mouth busted, everything. Why? Because there was a respect boundary. There was a respect boundary. Now you give these kids so much freedom of speech that now they feel like some of these parents, they feel like all they equals. And that is uneasy. Because once you feel like you my equal, that means you liable to raise your hand at me. And that's not what we're going to do. Because this right here, this rhythm that is inside of here, this ain't what you want, baby. This ain't what you want. And that's where a lot of parents aren't, like they just don't get it. You don't get it. You don't understand what's going on because you're not holding no boundaries. Why aren't you holding any boundaries? Or like I know for sure, like I'm bad at this, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm bad at. I'm bad at punishment. I am, and my kids they get a kick out of it, but I am really bad. I'm really bad at it, and the reason why I'm bad at it is because I know I like to do things. So I'll be like, "No, you won't punish me. You ain't going nowhere." Blah 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 blah. But I know I need to go to the mall, or I know that one day I'm just hungry and it's just me and Aja, me and Asia, me and Hannah, me and Samaj, me and Jaheem, me and Janaya. Like, it might be one of us, just the two of us in this house together because dad is off or dad got Jaheem and he got the boys. And, like, it can be a lot going on. And I just be like, damn, I know I put it on. I know I put it on. But I don't want to go out to eat today by myself. So what do? I grab that child. What does that child do? Come out to eat and your own punishment. Which I remember where your parents be like, nah, you ain't going out to eat with us. No, we gonna drop you off over at grandma's house. You don't deserve to go out to eat. But it's the kindness. It's the kindness out of your heart. You ever beat your kid and cry while they crying? And then explain to them like why you done beat them. Life gets crazy. Like it's really crazy. But I think that these children like have a lot on their. They have a lot of things on their minds. This generation is going through it in the only way that it can be helped or even we even be able to stick a little, just stick the head of our key inside of their minds and try to get something is not talking about when they need to pay rent. What we need to talk about is what is going on in your mind. Am I giving this child enough energy and enough love that I got as a child? Or am I too busy partying like a rock star, having a couple drinks and popping bottles, that's more important than making sure before I leave home that everybody has a meal, that I done sat down and I done made a home cooked meal and sat down with my children. Listen, I'm going out tonight. It is what it is. Boom, boom, boom. But that can be once in a blue moon. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you people are out here partying Monday through Friday, Thursday through Sunday. If you don't think that that's a problem and that can't cause a problem, then you need to rethink your mental. Seriously, you really need to rethink your mental. But that's just the way I feel. And if you don't agree, I'm fine with that. We're gonna agree to disagree sometimes. But I just don't think that that is the most important thing on the list right now. Like I don't think that me pushing my child to pay rent is going to do is what is it doing? Okay, I'm taking the rent money from you, but my child is still stressed and in their mind there's something going on that I cannot complete. So what do? You get into their minds and you try to talk to them. Counseling is good. Hey, there, you, brown people, stop thinking that counseling is bad. And I think that's why some of these children are like this too. You know, I'm gonna say some of our, just I'm because we all family. We sometimes look down on counseling and oh, I ain't going to go lay on to somebody's couch. Listen, this couch right here at WCMD 1656 Kane Avenue is very comfortable. So if counseling is the couch like this, I'm going, and I have been. Like I'm not afraid to say that I had to take counseling. Like I had some crazy things happen in my life, and I had to be like, I woosah myself, but also it feels good to be able to talk to somebody, and you're talking to somebody, and they're not talking at you. Or when you leave out that room, your business is your business. Like it ain't you told cousin Shayla, and Shayla went back and told her mom, and it's none of that. This is a private conversation. Me, you, her, us, the couch, the book. That's us. 1, 2, 3. The book. That's it. So I think that we need to get out of the brown people. We need to get out of that stage of life of making it seem like counseling is really bad. No, I'm not going to go sit on nobody's couch. I'm not telling no total stranger. Sometimes it takes a total stranger because that's the person looking from the outside and listening to your story. Stop saying that counseling isn't good because some of our children really, really need it. Whether you think that your child is the strongest child, guess what? Death hits us in all different type of ways. Death hits us differently as far as our emotions and things like that's going on. Like we don't all come with the same emotions about the same person. I might have had a special moment that you don't know about. So your whole relationship with the person that I know we don't have the same relationship. There's things that I probably know that you probably will never know. Because guess what? The person that we had in common did not tell you, they told me. And then we have our children where they're burying their classmates. Like we're burying children like babies, real babies. We're doing drive-bys. We're doing all of this crazy stuff. And our kids' minds is messed up, but we think that they're supposed to just look at life and shrug it off like we do. And technically, we're not even shrugging it off our damn selves. We just coping with it because this is this thing called life. So with our children, we're making it look like, hey, I'm strong. And mommy got to do what mommy got to do. But guess what? Sometimes mommy hurts too. Sometimes mommy has breakdowns too. Sometimes daddy has breakdowns too. Sometimes daddy can get hurt. There's no such thing that a boy can't cry. There's no such thing that a man shouldn't cry. Where they came up with that is beyond my mind. But I think it's very important for us to show emotion. But for our children, they're not showing emotion, they're showing anger. And that's a problem. So if you're a parent out here and you really think that paying rent is going to solve the situation, you done lost your mind. How about you get close with your child and try to figure out something, what's going on in their mind, because that's the problem. If we as adults cannot focus and make sure, like we're trying, we can focus, but we're not focused. It's always those off days with us, where our minds is like everywhere but where it should be. And we woke up to this phone call, and that phone call, and work is calling, and this person is calling, and you got so much going on, and it could be a Wednesday. Monday was fine. Tuesday was fine. Wednesday was crazy. Thursday, that shit from Wednesday carries on to Thursday. Hopefully it won't carry on to Friday. Only reason why it's not carrying on to Friday because you're not going to allow it to carry on for your weekend. But it happened for 2 days, for numerous hours. But we thought we had control. You know, for me, when I learned that we don't have control and that we can have tragic things happen to us in life. And with those tragic things happening to us in life, we think we can handle them. And we think that, I'm going to be all right. Da, 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 I'm going to get prayed over. Everything going to be all right. Blah, 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 blah. Listen, there's a stress level to this. So all the pain and everything that you thought, just look at it as an adult. All the pain and everything that you thought you got over, right? All you did was bury it. You soothed it. It's okay. It's not. But when that comes up again, it hurts again. But then you tuck it back. When the hurt go away, you feel like you can handle it again. Then you go ahead and you put it back in your bag. But it hurts. So we're holding all of this, whether it's great grandma, great great grandma, brother, sister, uncle, dad, mom has passed away, and you're holding that. And you're thinking that you are over it, and deep down inside, you're really not over it. It's breaking you down. And with it breaking you down, it's taking a toll on your body. How would I know? Because I've done it. I had 4 strokes. And I didn't even know that was what was going on until I sat down with a counselor. Like, listen, I don't know how I had this stroke. And now these people are telling me I'm not going to be able to walk, talk, do nothing. They done lost their mind. They must not know who Charlie is. Because I'm going to push. And with my family and friends, we're going to make sure I do it. But the motivation does not come from everybody else in the circle of love that you have. It comes from you. So with me saying this is, it goes to your children. Some of them are losing their children. Some of these children are losing their grandparents that has raised them. Some of them are losing their friends. Mom, dad has never been here, or mom is there, mom's working, dad's doing whatever. Crazy little situation. Even if you feel as though that your life is picture perfect because it's mom and dad in the house together, sometimes things can go left too because you don't know what these children are thinking. No matter how many trips we take, how many long talks we have, it's still something deep down inside of you that you just haven't shared with somebody. Or you haven't let go of that one piece of hurt that has hurt you. These children, this generation is going through a lot. They are going through a lot. They're losing their friends back to back. By the time we close our eyes, there's a child dead. And that is sad to say. Like, you don't even want, and the Jellolady speaks about it all the time. She doesn't even watch the news anymore. And the reason why she doesn't watch the news is because there's so much sad stuff. Like, the news is not happy. There's nothing happy about the news. But you gotta teach your child how to get through certain things in life. Like, okay, You might have bumped into that, but guess what? Get up and try it again. Let's talk about that hurt. These children are carrying around this hurt inside of them, and they don't have anywhere for it to go. So where does it go? To the streets. Takes it out on the streets. Takes it out on the parents, the cousins. Messes around, tries to hurt somebody. Something or the child. You might have that type of child that just shuts down, and that child might seem like make it seem like everything is okay, but they're really not okay on the inside. Children see and hear everything, especially if they're with you all the time in your household. So you might be with somebody, they might be doing certain things in their life. Our government workers, I call government workers street hustlers. Listen, everybody need a little bit of something. I don't hate against the street hustler. Hey, whatever it is, get it done. If you gotta put money in your pocket to make sure you're feeding for your family, do what you gotta do. I call them government workers. But your child ends up to the streets or subject to somebody like, it's that one, like I said before, it's that one friend where their mom becomes your mom and you're able to talk to that person. I don't want that. I want that relationship, and I have that relationship, but I want that same relationship that I put all that energy into with a girlfriend's mom or with a girlfriend's dad. I told them what I wanted to tell them because guess what? I have a mom and dad. And that's what you, ladies and gentlemen, that's what some of us have to learn to understand. We are the teachers. We are our children's keepers. They are my kittens. If I bump into one of your children will probably tell you the same thing. Oh yeah, Miss Charlotte. Oh yeah, that's it. I am my all of these children. I am their keeper. They can come to me and say whatever, but I was always able to speak to my parents. I was always, and I love them for that. I love my whole family. Like we're just so outgoing because if you can't talk to one person, you are definitely in my family. It's a million of us. It's always someone you can talk to at all times. But I was always able to go to my parents, which made me feel really, really, really special. Like that's a special thing to me because I feel like no matter what goes on, even through my roughest times or through me losing virginity, when I lost my virginity, I came straight to my dad. Like, Daddy, I let somebody get my box. Like, what do I do? But I was grown by then. So the only thing he could say was, listen, protect yourself. You're too grown. I can't tell you what to do and what not to do. These are your choices in life. But I'm here. Protect yourself. I had mommy. Like, I had those talks. I had my mom. So anything that came extra with that, as far as me building a relationship with my girlfriends or my uncle, all of that building relationship came from out of my household. It didn't come from nobody from the outside telling me you need to go talk to your mom and dad. I never had nobody ever had to tell me go talk to your mom and dad. You don't gotta tell me. If I'm telling you, that means they already know. And I done had this conversation. Some of these children can't come and talk to you. Some of these children cannot have a one-on-one conversation with their parents. Like, and it's sad. Like, I know sometimes with myself, like, I get frustrated with my children. Like, I can't stand never mind. No, nothing. I ain't want to say nothing. That aggravates the crap out of me to the point it makes me explode. Like, well, don't come over here asking me. I snap. They'll tell you. I ain't on here lying to y'all. But I had to complete a boundary because I was still looking at Hannah's my oldest. So I was still looking at Hannah as she's a child. She's not a child. She's a young lady now. Like she's 22. I have to respect her boundaries and I have to respect how she feels where I can open that communication line. I have to do that with my other girls. I have to do that with my boys. I have to open up, even though they might say some stuff that I just don't, that might hurt my feelings. But guess what? I made that mistake. So I'm here to say, hey, all right, this won't happen again. So I really think that everybody needs to open their eyes and really give attention to your children and understand that there's a deeper pain that some of us cannot understand, that some of us will never understand because you never went through it. But there's a deeper pain in these children. And if you're a parent that's running around here constantly speaking about rent, when your child has lost 3, 4 friends their age, and you have no clue what's going on in this child's mind, I think you need to think again. I definitely think that you need to go over life, and I say life, and understand who you are, where you've been, what you did in your lifetime, and where you are at now. And then maybe everything will balance out to you where you'll understand like shit's not that it's not that bad. I can talk to my child. It's never too late. A child always is willing with an open heart to speak with their parents. Now, the thing is if you're a parent that has not been there and you're like a jack in the box, you gotta learn how to take criticism, like point blank period. Like that's just what it is. Because you wasn't there. But then from there, then we go ahead and we can build along. We can build this bridge and we're gonna get through this. But until you clear the air with that child, that air will always be there. There's always gonna be a fog. And with that fog comes problems because now your child nor you can see through that fog. And now it's just like if we bump a log, we just gonna fall. Because it's so much fog, I can't even see the street. I'm gonna bump into a sign. I can't even see what's in front of me. Once the lights flick on, you can be down the yellow brick road. But without a light and a whole bunch of fog, you're not gonna be able to get through anything. So don't worry about they going my kids. I started making them pay rent. I seen some of y'all that said y'all started making your kids pay rent at 14. Listen, I believe in everybody knows that there's bills in this house. Everybody knows that these bills got to be paid. Now I don't care if you're gonna give me $50. If you give me $20, I'm grateful because that just means to me that my child thought about it. That's what that means to me. And not that I'm trying to show you responsibility. Okay. And now they're trying to figure out paying you. Meanwhile, they're trying to get over maybe Nana was the closest thing to them or Auntie was the closest thing to them. And then they lose a couple of friends at their age. That is hard. Because like I said, I remember his name is Jermaine Brown. And that was my first friend in life that I ever seen pass away. Like had to go to a funeral. Like our school was going crazy. Like they had to nobody knew how to cope with death. That was like, what? Somebody in our class died? A kid? And we were in high school. I think I was in like the 10th grade. That was tragic. Like it tore us apart. And I was in high school. Right now, we got children going through it that's in elementary school. That's in kindergarten. Little babies that haven't even made it to get to pre-K. They're in daycare and they done lost their lives from a drive-by shooting and you're worried about your rent or you're worried about getting them for rent or you're worried about, let's put it all out there. You're worried about you're on welfare, you got your Section 8, and you don't want your child to move forward because you don't want them to get their own place because that's going to mess up your Section 8. Honey, it's time for you as an adult to live on with your life and stop living through your children when it comes down to this welfare and Section 8 and shit. Let it go. You use the system as long as you can. Now it's time for you to get up off your backside and go get you a job and do what you have to do. Point blank, period. There's nothing in between. There's no middles. There's no nothing. It's here and there's an end. But some of y'all will never get it, and some of you guys will agree. And you get it. You understand what's going on. And that is great. But come on, ladies and gentlemen. If you have children between the ages of the oldest to 25 down, you need to get in their minds, understand who they are, before you want to keep shoving down something. Now, like I said, with mine, I'd be like, listen, what a bill due, and I need this money. Like I just spent $500-$600 on groceries. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I cook every day except Saturdays. Come on, I need help. Now, yes, I do flip out about that, but I still back off because guess what? I don't know. Every day, or every other day, I'm hearing about another child dying. Who do I hear it from? My own children. Baby, this ain't that. This is not the way life is supposed to be at all. You're not supposed to have to worry about drama and people dying. Like, no, I don't want people. That ain't it. But that's just what it is. So I'm just saying, I know some of you guys are looking at me like I'm totally retarded. But I'm telling you, I just don't think that's a good thing nowadays. I think that you shouldn't have that sealed over your head about what your child should be paying you instead of paying attention to their feelings. So, on that note, I am about to get out of here soon, but I wanted to play Sam face to face.
Yeah. I should have gotten back by now. I'm just staring at my phone right now. Yeah. Will I say? I don't know what prayer will I pray to make it out this time. I got lipstick on my collar, got her kisses on my neck, got her fragrance all upon me. Damn, my bed I smell like sex. Got her texts in my phone. Then why can't I believe? I mean, cause even if I do, that doesn't mean that I ain't cheap. Oh no, I can't make it right cause I know I'm wrong. You deserve better than me. Someone who gon' do what you say. Somebody who says what they mean. I've been making life for way too long.
Yes. But like I said, hey, we're gonna agree to disagree, but it is what it is. I just don't think that you should push your child to pay rent. I think that you should get to know your child more. Now, if you have a responsible child, responsible adult, and that's what they're on, then so be it. But still jump into their mental to see where exactly they are in life. Make sure they're ready because all children can save a little couple things in their heart. I'm gonna leave the show and I'm gonna say this to you guys. Rest in peace to my brother Alvin Dean Jr. Alvin Wyatt Dean Jr. When he passed away, before he passed away, we were talking, and it's always stayed with me. And he said, Shar, women are emotional wrecks. Y'all can get together, y'all can have conversation, y'all can cry on each other, and y'all can do all this crazy stuff together. But I get with my boys, and I'm hurt. My boy's gonna say, "It's all right, man up. Like, let's go take this drink. What you crying for? He said it's all. He always said it in this kind of crazy way. He's always said there was one little piece in a man's heart that will make him or break him. And when my brother passed away, I thought about it because it broke him. Don't allow that make or break your child. Make sure you reach out and talk to your children. It's very important. It's very important to know what's in their heart. And I was very, very close with my brother, but that was just a piece. And he used to tell me that about children, like just period, like life, period, kids, adults. It's always a part in our lives where you hold so much right here, and that determines you as a human. Or am I going to push through this as a human, or am I going to allow this to break me where it feels better to be gone than to be here? So you make that choice whether you think that your children's feelings are your children's feelings more important, or is it their responsibility to you for them to pay rent? It just doesn't make any sense. There's no balance to that. There's no balance to that at all. And on that note, I want to say thank you for tuning in. I'm getting out of here. I have a few things that I have to take care of. But I need you guys to, make sure you share and make sure you understand where I'm coming from. Don't be so mad at Cha-Cha. But I love you guys. And God is so, so good. And you make sure you talk to your children. Holla at them. Holla at an adult. It could be your sibling. It could be your mom, dad, auntie, uncle, cousins. Doesn't matter. Somebody has something on their heart that somebody needs to talk to. But don't think for one moment that rent is more important than making sure you get to know your child. On that note, this is the Midday Madhouse, and I am out of here.
You can take this, cause it's feeling so real that you can fake this. But it feels so good, thinking a lie, ride or die. Feels so good, thinking a lie, let's goodbye. We ain't never gonna quit. We ain't never gonna quit it, boy. We ain't never gonna quit it. We ain't never gonna quit it.
And I am out of here. I love you guys. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. The Jellolady will not be here, but you will have me, and I might have a little special something for you guys. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Midday Madhouse.
Don't see a reason for us to change ourselves. Just make better music. Game change, but we refuse to dumb it down. We make better music. I always knew the time would come back around to make better music. Better music. And I refuse to imitate all of these clowns. We make better music. Okay, this record is a message to you rappers who have been trained to be an MC with an insane pen game. I know it hurts, but lyrically the game been changed. If you lyrical nowadays, there's a slim lane. But don't complain, niggas. I know it's been a minute. I know you hate these niggas swag, but they winning with it. I know that DJ got your record and he didn't spin it. But you ain't gotta dumb it down and go invent a gimmick. Congratulate these dudes. They're at the top of the charts. They rich for making hits that didn't take a lot of thought. They good records, but lyrically they just not as sharp. And respect the DJ, y'all. It's not their fault. All this blaming and complaining, yeah, I fed into it. Then I thought twice, like I'm nice, and my records prove it. Hov did it, he was nice, sold impressive units. Bottom line, it's not the rhyme, let's make better music. I don't see a reason for us to change our sound. Just make better music. The game changed, but we refuse to dumb it down. We make better music. I always knew the time would come back around to make better music. Better music. And I refuse to imitate all of these clowns. We make better music. Better music. We make better music. Don't you fuck around my niggas, don't you fuck around my niggas, yeah. Don't fuck around my niggas. Fuck around my niggas, yeah. So hard to kill the chills, turn you back to prison. Don't you fuck around my niggas. So hard to kill the chills, turn you back to prison. Don't you fuck around. We up, man. Okay. I be back with man. Fuck out of here. Play on that. Don't you fuck around. All my shoes up and they gun you down. Free niggas, lab clips. Goddamn, that's 100 rounds. Won't play no games. Better play your lane. If not, get shot with a tag. You told that thing go bang. All my niggas, we strapped up. Send it down in that truck. We drive by, no high fives. All you niggas get clapped up. Steady talking this killer shit. All hats, we drilling shit. You hard ass, cause you still a bitch. Left is so militant. We swerve for you niggas. Pull up out the curb for you niggas. How you act like you wanna say Mac? Cause I can run him at a nerve for you niggas. Never heard of you niggas. If you don't know, you know now. Fly boy, just think about you niggas. Fuck around my niggas.
Jay here, just free to death from Stafford County truck.
For us to change ourselves. I see you came here with your friends too. Please don't you be shy. I don't know why you play. The games ain't no good for us. When we met, I felt the rush. Now I'm addicted to your prescription, girl. I can't get enough. I've been patient, no lie. I'm trying to slide 30 in the morning when we arrive. Still trying to put that love out on me. Started off by sipping my designer change. Baby, I'm in love with your confidence.
You are listening to the sounds of Stockton Productions.
What up, baby? Stogies all in there, shit on that G shit, both sides of the bridge. Yeah, man, got a couple black bottoms in this motherfucker. Hey, fellas, let my shit breathe, baby. Do my thing, cake deep, man. Some be blowing brains with the Glock. Pray to God that he help and try to get a nigga sane quick. But every day I seem to wake up on the same shit. Take a look and see the rebel in my eyes. We the hottest on the rise. Boy, the devil is alive. Kitchen whipping up that I'm riding around town with that The little nigga smoking up that I'm in the kitchen whipping up that I'm riding around town with that little nigga smoking on that, and all niggas sound is that, I'm in the kitchen whipping up that, I'm riding around town with that, Someone bring 2 songs for them. Little nigga smoking on that, and all niggas sound is that, Man, this your boy Real Rap. Shout out to Rap Junkies. Shout out to the homie Big. Shout out to Taz. I'm introducing my video Northside off my debut mixtape, NORX. North Numbers really straight. What? You know what I'm saying? I'll see you, man.
On my life, I dreamt of an angel who would teach me how to fly, take me to a higher level, and you're my fear of heights. Learn to love and let go. That's when you came along and showed me I was special. You helped me to see my wings are strong, but I'm already in my home. All I need is you. All I need is you. My dreams come true, and I believe. Suddenly, my life changed. I met you. Thought that I had it all together. Never even had a clue. I went running the problem to try and make it better. But I couldn't do it without you. Eventually, when you came to my rescue, entirely admitted to you. Eventually, we became inseparable. I knew. All that I needed. If you ready or not, we gon' come with the Glock. Keep on talking crazy, nigga, we gon' clock your block. Why ain't going so we fuck around and claim it the cops. When I was 9, I had my moms, and I'm stuck on my pops. And a couple sisters. All we got is each other before I fuck a nigga. I'm making sure he put on a rubber. Never tell him I love him. If I do, it's a lot. If I did, I was drunk or fuck around and been high. Get the bread, I'ma go. See her out, I'ma blow. Real pretty hood chick, say I'm cuter than most. Let her go to the stove, call her like she froze. Left her brains on the corner, but the 12 on fold. They just wanna see me down. Remember I was class clown, praying on my downfall, hoping that I'm choked. Thinking I'm a joke, I'ma show them I want smoke. I'm feeling like Carter, Lil Wayne's daughter. Hopped up in the game, I ain't need no push starter. Feeling like bricks, cause I'm moving across the border. Waves like water, X steady calling. Got a new nigga, so you can't get up on it. Riding in the floor, ain't even started balling. Swear when I get on this industry, you go record it. Now they call me awesome, say that I got super max. Niggas in the super tracks, know that I be going hard. This gon' be a super track, riding in the G6. Feeling like a G-whip, smoking on that G-shit. Got on that G-drip. Live from WCC. What you see is what you get up on the morning show. I got a whole lot of bras up before I go. Cha-cha, real smooth, she the boss. No, baby. Hold up, I'm about to go to Jellolady. They your host, 12 to 2.